some municipalities, may say, that this is all that's allowed in their district. But if they prefer this, but it's equal to, then all the pipe classifications, that's what the classifications are for, is they're still the same pressure rating as the brand that they're specing. They still have the same specs, they're just a different brand.
Okay. I got you.
So
a lot
it's
of
really
people
based
like
on specifications.
Right.
Yeah. And you got to warranty it regardless, I guess,
exactly.
if you're installing. So.
And what it boils down to is like, as far as valves, hydrants, stuff of that nature goes, they like to have the same brand throughout their system because it's easier to work on. When you're putting numbers together and stuff, you get into change orders and other stuff, that drive your number up. They will allow you to go over that by 10%.
Okay.
But on your bonding, whatever number you give them, that's what they hold you to. And as you get change orders and stuff in, you have a percentage that goes to the bonding company. Usually around 1%, a little less, depending on how your relationship is with your insurance company.
Okay.
And so for every dollar that's added on to it, you've got to pay your insurance company a fee because they've got to bond that portion as well.
Okay.
So if you start off with a job, say it's $10 million, and that's what you're bonding, then say you get $1.5 million in change orders, well, you still got to pay that fee to your bonding company because they have to bond those change orders as well. But, at some point you get to where, you want to grow your business and you want to do larger jobs. But once you get over that, the state requires you to have a contractor license to be able to bid on such work.
Okay.
So the earlier the better. I mean, if you plan on staying in business, you plan on growing, you go to the state of Tennessee licensing board website. They give you all the information for your qualifications that you need to study to take your test. And I think it's $250 per qualification to take your test. I mean, you can start off with just a regular, say you're going to do utilities, so you need a MU classification, to be able to do that type of work for municipalities and in most of your cities that you work in. So if that's what you're going to be focused on, that would be my first thing. I want to go get my MU. Then you can add different classifications, as you study for them. You can go anytime. They got it listed on there, not anytime, but they got certain times that they give these tests, and go ahead and sign up for your next one. Be studying for it. When you give an estimate, someone wants you to come and do a job, when you hit those situations, when you hit, the extra 10 or 12 inches of topsoil, don't strip it all. Pull it down and hey, we got more topsoil. Go get the property owner, come out, or whoever you're working for. Yeah. So, look, this is the issue. I can either stop and reprice this, or you can get someone else to come in. At this point, you just, if you want, you can pay me what you owe me.
Yeah, just take it from that point on to at an hourly time and material rate.
If you go on and complete the project, or do the project,
then ask for more money.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah, change orders can come from both sides, and that's one thing I've also learned. Yeah, you don't do anything without writing.
Yes. Most time, especially on your larger jobs, they'll have like a phasing plan during the bidding process. Look at those and see how many times you may have to move in or move out. If it's a congested site, you may not be able to leave your equipment there. So, you may have to move it out, wait a few weeks and move back in. Look at that stuff, and look at where the project's located at. Is your low boy going to take him longer to get in a downtown area than it will out, somewhere on a county road? Of course it is.
Sure.
It's going to be, a little more congested and harder to navigate through traffic. May have to take a few detours here and there to get to. You may have to go 1.5 miles to go a half a mile.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is make sure that you compensate yourself enough in your bidding, or pad yourself enough in your bidding to handle those mobilizations. If you don't have a low boy and not able to move yours, you're going to have to hire you a moving contractor.
At what point in the build phase do you guys get involved? Are you guys putting out quotes before even the dirt work's being done?
Yes. You start putting in quotes before anything dirt work gets started. Usually they'll send a set of plans. We have to go through and call. There's several different companies they use. The plans will say you're going to use train equipment, certain registers, grills, certain ductwork, inner line.
So is it mostly aesthetic when it comes to the returns and grills, or is it?
Some scenarios, different buildings they are. Some people want exposed ducts. Some people know it's going to be below a drop or above a drop ceiling, and different style grills and registers. I mean, that you might have one that costs $122 and one that costs $7. So
Yeah.
different brands, you know,
Right.
you have to really, these commercial estimators, I've been working with them for 2 years at Griffin, and you know, I get a little house plan, I'm done in 2 hours. I basically know what we got. And with those guys, it might be
2
2 or
weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for the real
There's really
experience, right?
not on this particular
Yeah.
thing. So we do a cooperative program with local HVAC companies. So when they get in their last, we do 3 semesters. When they get in their last semester, they'll start working 2 days a week with a local company. Of
Okay.
course, the idea is to get them with that company where they can co-op a couple days a week, and then they can from there just get hired right in full time.
Yeah, if it's a good fit,
If it's
boom.
a good fit, correct.
Oh, fantastic.
What's the
So-
success rate on that? It's pretty high.
So far, for co-ops getting hired in straight, I'd say we're at 98%.
Wow. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that 2% probably someone made choice.
It is,
right.
yeah. It's choices being made, and usually it's a employer calling saying, "Hey, I really don't want to do this, but we got a problem."
Yeah.
And I usually say, so when we do this, I usually tell them, "Hey, good for you, good for them. If they're a problem, send them back."
You need to know what you're capable of. You need to have those boundaries. So, absolutely.
I think we've talked about that in the past too, like in the construction world, like being able to make that kind of assessment
You know,
and
you've got to know your limits and your boundaries, you know, to what you're doing for your scope of work, you know, for your profession. Because the worst thing you want to do is get a bad name for yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to be able to go out and give a good quality product, and people be happy with it. And you know, word of mouth sells better than any kind of advertising you can do. And the other thing is like you may not, because you're just getting started, you may not yet, but you need to kind of build a reputation with other contractors that are in similar line of work as you. Because then you can be the one, like, you know, hey, this job is not for me, but I can recommend this person, or I can recommend this company, you know, to where you still have a rapport with that person. So in the future, if they have something that's in your field or your expertise, they're like, you know, well, Josh, you know, I really like the guy he referred me to. I'm going to give him another call and see if he can handle this task.
Most of your normal, around here, your normal size water distribution lines, it's 6 inch. Around, yeah.
And is that even, because I can imagine, obviously, closer to the water authority, you would have larger pipes. But
That's
as
correct.
you get out into the rural
That's correct.
areas, like, at what point do you say, what's the smallest that you would have? Like,
I mean, we got some 2 and a quarter. Yeah, I mean, there's actually some 1 inch. I mean, years ago, all they was focusing on was getting people water.
yeah.
They weren't thinking about fire protection or anything. I mean, the water authority, we're not in the fire protection business now. Granted, we want to help people fight fires. We don't want nobody's house to burn down. But just what you said, in the towns and in the communities, your larger pipes go in and they get smaller as they go out.
I was able to sell jobs very easily because I was extremely confident, no matter what, in that respect. So by 2014, I did it from 2010 to 2014. I ended up building lots of houses, remodeling lots of houses, doing flips for investors, the apartment complexes, the pools. Like I said, I had an office on 8th Avenue. Like, I was living the high life, you know, multi-million-dollar business. But if you came into my office, you didn't see anything but just stacks of paper and shit everywhere. Like, there was no organization, there was no SOPs, systems, procedures, there was no rhyme or reason about how anything worked. It was like, get an invoice, pay it, get an invoice, pay it.
Keep the money flowing.
Okay, and just this wheel of chaos
Yeah.
that was going, and it seemed to be working. So I thought, well, I think we got money in the bank, so we should be okay. But there was a point If y'all want to stop me at any point.
No, keep going. You're good.
There was a point where I was sitting in my office downtown and thinking to myself, this is a house of cards.
Mine was circumstantial. I worked for a large company here in Nashville for 10 years. And during 2020, I was a property maintenance supervisor. So I was going in people's houses, we didn't have any protocol other than, wear a mask, go in there, get things done. Well, the following year, they kind of made this mandate and they were like, hey, look, you got to take the shot or we're going to fire. And, at that point, I was kind of just like, look, we're crossing lines here. Bodily autonomy, hey, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, So I made a decision. I spoke with my wife. We talked about it. We were like, hey, we'll just figure it out. We'll move back home. I'm going to start my own business.
You gotta, and that's where, like I've asked people and, several people in the past, especially like new and upcoming contractors, what does it cost you to run that piece of equipment?
Yeah.
And then immediately say, well, I charge this. That's not what I'm asking. What does it cost you? And 9 times out of 10, if they haven't worked for someone or been involved in what it takes to actually figure out what that piece of equipment costs them to operate, then they have no idea. They're just trying to go off a market rate.
Yeah.
Is that man? That seems like, sorry, Chris.
It's okay.
You go ahead.
No, that's all right.
I feel like a jerk now.
Well, no, it's just fine. I'm always just like, obviously we have an application, Profitdig, we're profitdig.com, but just using the application itself, there is no magic pill for creating the perfect construction bid, or no application where you can go push a few buttons and create the perfect construction bid, but the whole process of configuring your account with all of your company assets forces you to think about this stuff.
Right.
So